In the heart of the Thar Desert, where the sun bleaches the sands and whispers of ancient spirits linger like shadows, lies my grandmother's village, a place steeped in forgotten tales and eerie secrets. They say the winds carry stories, but there's one that chills the bones, one that still sends shivers down my spine when I think of that cursed Rakshasa. A creature of nightmares, it could slip through the veil of reality, shape-shifting into anyone you loved, anyone you trusted. It was a master of deception, and its hunger was insatiable. As a child, I would gather around the fire, listening intently as my grandmother recounted the horrors that had befallen her village. Her voice, low and trembling, would weave tales of those who vanished without a trace. Villagers spoke of a time when the Rakshasa roamed freely, slipping into the homes of unsuspecting families, wearing the faces of their loved ones. One evening, my grandmother's best friend Aditi was among the first to be taken. It was a night like any other, the moon hanging low, casting an eerie glow upon the dunes. Aditi had returned home late, her laughter echoing against the stillness. But when she stepped inside, the joy faded, replaced by a bone-chilling silence. That night, a figure appeared at her door, tall and familiar. It was Aditi's husband, or so she thought. His face was twisted with a strange, unnatural grin. He called her name softly, but something in his voice was off. It echoed with a hollow resonance, a sound that sent dread creeping into her heart. Just as Aditi reached for the door, a gust of wind howled through the village, and in that moment she hesitated, a moment too late. The door creaked open, and the last thing she saw was the glint of eyes, black as coal, filled with an insatiable hunger. Then silence fell. Days passed, and whispers of the Rakshasa filled the air. Families locked their doors, but fear seeped into their hearts like poison. My grandmother spoke of nights when shadows danced at the edges of their homes, and the sound of laughter turned into chilling screams. It was said that the Rakshasa feasted on the essence of its victims, leaving only hollow shells behind, mere memories of who they once were. And then, one fateful night, my grandmother's own sister became its next prey. The village was in uproar, a dark cloud of despair looming over them. They say she stepped outside, called to by a voice that sounded just like her sister's, luring her into the darkness with promises of safety and love. But as my grandmother watched, the figure that emerged was not her sister. It was a grotesque parody, a twisted reflection of the love she once knew. In that moment, my grandmother realized that the Rakshasa had come for them all, feeding on the bonds of trust and love that held their lives together. The village elders gathered, their faces etched with lines of worry. They spoke of ancient rituals, of wards and spells, of ways to banish the creature back to the shadows. But as the rituals began, the Rakshasa was clever, ever watchful, slipping through their defenses like grains of sand through fingers. It became a game of cat and mouse, one where the stakes were life and death, each night bringing more horror, more despair. And just when hope seemed lost, my grandmother discovered a glimmer of light, a forgotten shrine buried beneath the sands, untouched by time. It was here, in this sacred space, that she began to understand the creature's true nature. The Rakshasa was a reflection of their fears, their darkest secrets made flesh. To defeat it, they had to confront their own demons, to face the shadows lurking within their hearts, and only then could they hope to reclaim their village. And so together they called upon the spirits of the desert, the ancient ones who whispered wisdom into the winds, and they bravely faced the Rakshasa, casting it back into the void. The air crackled with energy, and with one final roar, the Rakshasa was banished. But its lessons lingered, forever etched in the hearts of those who lived to tell the tale.